If you haven't increased your pricing, I would encourage you to do so, because as you get better with your skills, you should be increasing your pricing. You should charge more. Hey everybody, this is Nick Ponte from nickponte.com and offlinesharks.com. Now, I have underpriced my products and services incorrectly even for a long time, and I no longer do that. And it wasn't until I had learned some things that I was able to shift my perspective and charge much higher fees for my products and services. So that's what this video is all about. If you're interested in that, please hit the like button below this video, subscribe to my channel, because what I'm hoping to do with the information in this video and the software that I share is that I'm hoping that you will be able to increase your fees or even get your head wrapped around pricing and how you should be effectively charging your products or your customers for your products and services. This doesn't matter if you are a digital marketer building websites, doing SEO, or you're a service-based business. Maybe you're a roofer. It doesn't really matter. This is evergreen content. It can be applied to anything that you're trying to sell. It is pricing mindset, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so welcome to this pricing presentation. I have a picture that I took about 3 months ago of me in New York, and this is actually on Wall Street. And I just thought that it was appropriate because this presentation is all about pricing, right? And having this awareness about pricing that I'm going to share with you in this video has allowed me to build a successful business, one that I would call successful, and some others might call successful as well. And it has allowed me to do things and have freedom in my life that I am extremely grateful for. One of which, going to New York, being able to travel, working from wherever I travel to. I'm probably working in that picture on that phone, but also being in Wall Street, right? Wall Street was a cool place for me to go to because it really is inspirational, right? You get that feeling about being an entrepreneur and building a business when you go there. It's like in the walls and the cobblestones of that area. So it was just an interesting experience, and I thought it was appropriate. Now, let's get right into the pricing section. This presentation, I'm going to cover 3 things: the attitude, pricing, preconditioning, and pre-qualifying. The attitude, right? This is all about the attitude behind pricing, one that you should have. These bullet points are all positions that I have held before or at some point or currently do now when it comes to pricing, negotiating, and talking to customers or clients about my services. Now, it doesn't matter if you are a service-based business, you're a roofer, or you have a digital marketing company like I do, like you sell marketing services. It doesn't really matter. This content, this pricing presentation is evergreen. It applies to anybody and everybody. Basically, the first bullet point. So if you want somebody's business, but you don't necessarily need it, it flips the script for your person on the other side, right? Like, what, my business isn't good enough for you? Why don't you need my business? It almost makes them want you to take on their business, which in turn allows you to charge more, right? So if you have that attitude in your pricing model, great, you could probably charge higher fees. Now let's move down to the next one, where you are in demand. Let's see if I can fit you in. In marketing, exclusivity is a huge factor when it comes to driving people to purchase and buy services and products, right? If I'm in demand, if everybody wants my websites, but I only have 3 left, and people know that I only have 3 left, there are going to be people that want one of those 3, right? So that makes it exclusive and in demand. There's a sense of urgency behind it. So if you can set up your pricing and your discussion when you're negotiating with clients to be in demand, great. This allows you to be in a stronger position to negotiate and charge higher pricing. The other bullet point here is the third one. So there's value to you and there's value to me. So oftentimes people get stuck in the psychology where they think that the value is only to the person who gets the money. Well, that's not true. That's not entirely true. Yes, there's value in the person who gets the money, but there's value on the services delivered to the person who pays the money. Because let's say they're a business owner and they want me to build them a website. Well, the value to them is they don't have to learn how to build the website. So sometimes we forget that, right, when we're pricing ourselves. Perception that I want to share with you here is don't sell yourself short. For a long time, I really underpriced my products and services, and it wasn't until I really understand that there's value on the other end as well, where I really started to increase my prices and was confident in that raising of my prices. The next bullet point is that it's all about their results. When you're talking to your customers, you really want to focus on their results. Whatever you can do for them, if it's building the roof over their head or building a website that brings in more business, like the results from building a website are that people can buy their products. The results of building a roof is that you're not going to get wet when it rains and you're in your house, right? Results and benefits, sort of the same thing. And when you focus on these things, when you're doing your pricing or sales, at least it's been my experience that I have a much higher conversion rate. People are much more likely to buy and also buy at a higher price point because you're reminding them not only of what they're buying, but why they're buying it, right? And finally, every prospect is suspect until proven otherwise. So what that means is we don't know that every prospect that comes to our agency is going to be an effective and good lead or a good customer or a paying customer, right? So we always operate under the attitude of investigating, right? They're a suspect and we want to investigate. We want to figure out if they would make good clients. Do they have good communication? Do they even have the budget to take us on or hire us to do our services? Do they have good communication? Like I just said, you don't want a client to come across your desk where they have horrible communication. You send an email, you don't get anything back. Like that's the worst, right? So you want to make sure that the customers you take on are worth the price point that you are going to price yourself at. So, I like to think about whenever I take a job, because pricing is very personal. I heard Tom, my business partner, share this in a presentation we did the other day, where he said pricing is personal. Pricing your services is dependent upon, you as well. What are you willing to do this job for? How much time do you have available to you? How much are you going to hate yourself after doing this job for X amount of dollars, right? If someone were to give you $1 million to build a website, you probably wouldn't hate yourself very much if you spent 500 hours on it, right? It'd be totally a deal. If someone were to give you $1 and you were to build them a website and it took you 500 hours, you'd probably hate yourself. So I hope that makes sense. But these are all things that you need to put in perspective when you do your pricing, when you lay out your pricing and you pitch people. And something that I like to do whenever I am going to contact a lead or a customer over the phone or via email is before I call, I always write down my numbers. If I'm going to call a website prospect or whatever, I will do my research, I'll look them up online before I actually call them, and then I will write down my price point. That way I know my price point regardless of what they say to me on the phone, and I'm sticking to it, right? I have it written down on a piece of paper. And that way I'm able to not let my emotions get involved, right? I know that this is what I would charge to do this service and my emotions aren't getting involved. Now, there have been times where I talk to somebody on the phone and then you find out that there are some other factors that make the job less amount of work or something like that, and you can go down from your number that you've written down, but more often than not, this helps you stick to your guns and charge what you're worth. So I like to go into my prospecting that way. Let's jump into the price preconditioning. And what this is, for those of you that don't know, this is over the sales process, whatever you're selling, oftentimes there's a timeline. And if it's just a phone call, well, the timeline is from the beginning of the phone call to the end of the phone call, right? So if you have a timeline, and I'll draw it on the screen here, one second. So if you have a timeline, and this is my timeline, right? On the left side, we have the beginning, and on the right side with the arrow, we have the end. So from the beginning, we now have time to start to set the stage for later on in the call or the email or the conversation or the meeting where we are actually going to drop the price point, right? We have this time to talk about the benefits, the value we deliver, why we charge X amount of dollars, blah, 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 blah. So we can condition our users to when we actually say, hey, this website is going to be $10,000. Now that's called preconditioning, right? There's no sticker shock. If you set the stage, if you precondition correctly, when you say $10,000, they're ready to say, here's my credit card. I know why I should purchase this from you, right? So that's what preconditioning is. So here are some preconditioning things that I do to help me precondition. So number one, I have a white paper that I've created on my products and services. So I have several products and services that I offer within my agency. One of them would be website design. So if I were to show you my website design white paper, this is it. So this is a PDF that I send to my clients, and you can see it says local web design, designing a website that produces results. And it just talks about what goes into actually building a website based upon our strategy and our methodology. So we send this to our customers. Like, let's say we get a lead to our website. Well, we respond to the email, we send them the white paper, and then we follow up with the phone call. But by the time we get to the phone call, they already have looked at the white paper, they know that we're professional, they can see a lot of the value we bring. It's helping to precondition, right? So when we get on the phone, we talk about pricing, they know what we're here to do, they know what we offer, and they're ready to buy. Another thing that you can do is have a price sheet, right? You can precondition with a price sheet. So let me pull that up for you. So here's a basic pricing matrix from back in the day that we used. I'm not using this anymore, but you can see we have our local web design package, mobile optimization package, different tiers of doing web design, right? We also have the hours and how much they go for, right? Like the price points, $1,500 for this web design package, $450 a month for hourly rate retainer. Now, one thing that I want to point out here is that the price, I show you the price of each goal and not the service, right? So what I mean by that is I show you the price here, and then I have a description of what we're going to fulfill. So I don't just say it's web design, $1,500. I have a little more info that helps to precondition the sale. Without this, it's pretty black and white, pretty dry, and that won't really help you to add psychology to your marketing so that people will purchase whatever you're trying to sell. Now this again goes with any kind of service you want to sell or any product that you want to sell. There can be a good amount of preconditioning, whether that's a price tag or something you attach to a physical product or what you say in a phone conversation. That will help you to lead to a better sale. And finally, the last thing that I want to talk about is pre-qualifying. And the way that I pre-qualify my clients, this is what I pretty much do right now for the most part when it comes to my pricing, my conditioning, all of that. I use a methodology called pre-qualifying where I get my customers to pre-qualify themselves to my products and services. So how I do that is I created a little software, and you can find out more information about it at localfeefinder.com. You can actually purchase it and put it on your website if you want to. But this tool is called Local Fee Finder. It's a software that I developed, and this is my agency website, right? And the software adds these pages to my website. They're called discovery pages, and it allows me to pre-qualify my leads. So if somebody wants a website, I just tell them to go fill out the discovery page on my website, and if you were to go there, this page will help to pre-qualify, right? It conditions, it asks questions about the project, about the product, about the business, and you hit, the customer would fill this out, they hit next, more questions come up, right? In the questions, I find out more information about pricing. So this allows me to figure out if there's a budget available, is it worth my time? And by the time I get this back, I call my customers, and we already know, like, I want this customer, I know there's a budget, I know what I'm gonna sell them. I write down my number on my piece of paper, and oftentimes, if all of these things line up correctly, the sale goes really easily. Now, this is something that I hope all of you really kind of latch onto, because I'm not a natural born salesman, never was, and I've just set things up that have allowed me to, or I've set systems up, put things in place that have allowed me to sell without really selling. I've demonstrated the value of our agency, of our company. We've been able to raise our prices up quite a bit, probably the most expensive in our market here in Maui. And we are there and that way for a reason, because we offer the most in-demand and high-quality services around, right? If you look up Maui SEO, we're number one. So we are the best company to rank your company online. We also are number one for web design here in Maui. We build the most awesome websites, and we have a track record of sending the most traffic, customers, sales, and leads to our clients, to our businesses that pay us to do that for them. So we do charge a little more than most people, but that's because we deliver high quality services. So I hope that helped to wrap your head around how I do my pricing, how I pre-qualify. If you got any value out of that, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below. How's your pricing? Is it a bit dry? Have you increased your pricing over time? Have you stayed the same since you got started? If you haven't increased your pricing, I would encourage you to do so, because as you get better with your skills, you should be increasing your pricing. You should charge more, right? You become more expert, you become more professional, you get a black belt, you should charge more money for those products and services. And I'd like to know in the comments if you're doing that. And if not, why not? Let me know. So with that, I just want to say thanks for hanging out, and I will see you in the next video. Aloha.
Listen.